Hi, this is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. Today is February 19th. Where does the time go, my lord? 2026. Back in the office. And it's been a long trip. I went all the way through Japan. We did the whole archipelago. I was in Hokkaido, went down to Okinawa, hit up Tokyo as the final place, then flew to Hong Kong. And we had a real lovely time at Consensus. I got to wear a McDonald's uniform. We call it the mixed speech. And we met a lot of people and we made a lot of great announcements. People running the network like Blockdaemon and Telegram and Google. That's pretty cool for the midnight launch coming next month. A lot of amazing roadmap items were achieved. Tons of relationships, partnerships, a lot of forward progress on the midnight side. And so it's really good to see that network wake up. And it's really great to see good leadership at the Midnight Foundation and all the team over there, as well as the team at Shielded for really putting their nose down and getting the network launched. It's extremely hard to launch a cryptocurrency. It's a lot of work. Having done it a few times before, I can tell you from firsthand experience, it never is easy. So I'm really excited and proud that they put in the elbow grease and they're getting it done. And then on the Cardano side, we announced the layer 0 integration, which connects Cardano to more than 80 blockchains and really makes Cardano no longer an island. It's able to move liquidity, users, and value across, as well as USDCX. And actually, shout out to Phil DeSaro and his team. The user experience that they're building for USDCX is phenomenal. It's auto convert, so you can send straight to the exchange, straight back from the exchange. And they're going to do some videos and other things, show people that, but it's seamless and it's basically USDC, but the difference is we have the privacy and can't be frozen. So I feel pretty good about that. And I think that's the best compromise we're going to get in the Cardano ecosystem for a tier 1 stable coin of that nature. Layer 0 opens up the possibility of 8 major stable coins as well. And it's really just a question of when and how. That integration is going to take a little bit longer because it's a very significant one, whereas USDCX is basically built for these non-EVM systems. So we're having a lot of fun with that. And obviously, Laos is still on schedule. We got travel around with Mike. He's the product manager, Michael Splensky, for Laos, and had a lot of conversations about where we're at. Cardano hard fork is happening, I believe, next month. But the community is kind of working its way through that and getting these things done. But all things considered, we're pretty happy with the rate of progress of Cardano. The new Plutus version, the continued development of Aiken, no diversity coming this year, Laos this year. All the CCI integrations are really pushing through. We have the Pithathon at the Dev Builders Fest down in Argentina in March. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch the integration of Pith into our ecosystem. Finally, we have tier 1 Oracle in Cardano. So, things have a different timbre to them. They're moving very quickly and we're getting things done. The markets are still extremely negative and there's a lot of bots going around spreading negativity. There are a lot of people that are just kind of in the sticks in the dump. And it is what it is. Can't really do much about it. You just have to work and you have to put in the effort and you have to keep pushing forward. In the beginning, we said that Cardano is going to be the most decentralized and the most principled cryptocurrency in this space, including Bitcoin. And we achieved that. We are the most decentralized and we have a phenomenal on-chain governance system. And now with the launch of Laos, we've solved the blockchain trilemma. And yeah, there's a lot to do. There's many things that we have to resolve and solve, as we power and push through. But the fact that Cardano can launch a midnight, $1 billion+ project that has tier 1 listings and people are genuinely excited about means that Cardano can launch tier 1 projects that are listed on major exchanges and actually have major partnerships and relationships like Google. That is not an Ethereum thing. That was not a Solana thing. That was done from Cardano. So it's important that people remember that. And it's important that people see that and realize that Cardano is still in the game. It's still fighting. And it's fighting for everything. The reality is the way the space is going, there are definitely factions whose only desire is to ban non-custodial wallets and run all of cryptocurrency transactions on permission federated networks owned and operated by large financial institutions. That's just what they want. And they say it'll be safer and faster and more consumer friendly, and it won't have all these scams and so forth. And what they're missing is that's literally a replication of the financial system that Satoshi and everybody who came after him was trying to get away from. And unfortunately, they are making meaningful and sustained progress. If you look at the latest drafts of the Clarity Act, you look at the kinds of people around it these days, and you look at the launch of all these federated networks, which are VC darlings, and they have all these big actors. There's no real intention to ever decentralize. It's okay to launch federated. We did this with Cardano, but you have to have a path to go ahead and convert that into a fully decentralized network. We did that. We showed how to do that. It took years and years, a lot of hard effort. And many people listening or people involved in that process as stake pool operators. What's not okay is build network that's forever owned and operated by 5 or 10 or 20 banks. And they basically lord and leverage that power and position over the users. And once they have absolute control, they just simply flip a switch and you're at their mercy. And they own all your money. And unfortunately, the system is moving in that direction right now. So there are those of us still fighting hard. And Cardano Midnight are examples of attempts to try to get out from underneath that. And it's hard. You're not a VC darling. They don't mention you in the reports. You don't get a seat at the big boy table when big negotiations happen or other things. It, at the end of the day, is a retail army. And our success or failure, it comes down to ultimately the level of cynicism humanity has. If you are cynical, we have lost. If you are optimistic, we have a chance to win. It's pretty much that simple. The cynical people say the system's always going to be this way. It's rigged. Look at the Epstein files. They'll never get released. No one will ever be held accountable. Nothing will ever happen. The banks always rule us. The rich people will always rule us. Well, if that's the case, kill yourself. What's the point? What's the point? Everything's bad. Everybody's against you. Your whole life is being puppeteered. You have no free will and autonomy. You're a slave, and there's nothing you can ever do to get out of it. Okay? I can't imagine living this way and having this perspective. I really can't. It's disgusting. You have surrendered that which makes you human, and you have voluntarily stepped into slavery. Be optimistic and believe that maybe the good guys can win, and you have some sort of influence, however small, over that outcome. We're not asking for everyone to be this courageous hero charging up the mountaintop and slaying the dragon, but just the belief that somehow, some way, we're going to find a path to get to where we need to go. This morning, Prince Andrew was arrested. That gives me some hope. I don't particularly care where that goes. It's something. It's hard to arrest a prince. It really is. There's a lot of institutions that their only job is to protect people like that. And the fact that he got arrested, it means that maybe, just maybe, today can be a good day. And analogously, when we look at the industry as a whole, it is absolutely hard to beat the people who print the money. On the other hand, those people have abused the human race for so long in so many different ways that you have to really ask yourself, why do we follow them outside of fear? And if we can get to a point where we just don't fear anymore, then guess what? We've already won. This is what all the colonies seceding from Britain realized. And this is what everybody realizes when they step outside of the shadow of tyranny. You have to have enough courage to not fear. And then once you realize that you can win, you have to commit yourself to it. This is not solely the journey of Cardano and Midnight. It's just simply the good versus evil of, do you have personal power over your identity, your money, your voice, and ultimately the consent that you give? Or has this been stripped from you and given to others whom you've never met, you have no control over, and you never have the ability to get rid of in the event that they abuse you? We have to take our power back. And that's what cryptocurrencies were built for. Rules in a place that doesn't have rules. Structure in a place that was structureless. And ultimately a system that holds everyone accountable, even me, even Vitalik, even Anatoly, all the people. Because when we build these things, we let them go, no one can shut them down. They will survive their founders and thrive. When you look across all of the major cryptocurrencies and the progress that's being made, from Ethereum with encrypted mempools to Fire Dancer with Solana to what we're doing with Leos with Cardano, we're winning. The technology is winning. We're getting more private, we're getting more decentralized, we're getting more reliable, and we are step by step getting the power that we need to be able to run the world. That's an amazing thing. But that alone is not enough for us to win. It's a necessary but not sufficient condition. We also need an army to stand behind all these chains and still believe and keep the faith. And how the banks have been winning, how the people that want to centralize this have been winning, is they stopped trying to put the people who build the systems in jail. They stopped suing people. They stopped using the heavy hand of the Securities Exchange Commission. And rather, what they did is they went to something much more foundational. They attacked people's belief in the legitimacy of the endeavor itself. They've convinced countless millions that cryptocurrencies as a whole are scams. Cryptocurrencies as a whole will fail and serve no utility or purpose in society, which is sad. Similar to totalitarian governments and leaders convincing people that they don't actually need free speech, and free speech is the enemy. They don't actually need the power of democracy and the ability to choose their own leaders and hold those in power accountable. Don't worry, the betters have it figured out. They've yet again tried to pull that pernicious bait and switch of convincing all of you that cryptocurrencies are unnecessary. They had their time, but they were a scam, and we now need to go back to the old control structures of the past. Never let them do that. They're more necessary today, here in 2026, than they've ever been in the history of the human race. I cannot find one institution left that has credibility. I can't find one movement left where the leaders are without sin. And I cannot find one currency issued by a country that's solvent. We're approaching $300 trillion in global debt. The United States is committing itself to having over $50 trillion in global debt over the next 10 years. This is not a sustainable system. It never has been, never will be, and it's destined for collapse. And the response is, let's go make a bunch of trillionaires and let's hand more money and power to them with their armies of humanoid robots and AI, replacing both the blue and the white collar workers. We cannot allow a future like this, enslaving all of us to the debt of those who came before us. We have to get out of it. And cryptocurrencies are the only way that we can regulate the behavior of everyone from the individual to the nation state. All of us have to follow the same rules. That's a very basic and fundamental thing. And every critic of the cryptocurrency space has yet to acknowledge that basic reality. They keep saying, well, the numbers go up and the numbers go down, and bad actors do things, and scam coins are launched, and meme coin this, and Trump made $5 billion. Yes, but does the human race work better or worse when a system, by its design, holds people accountable and forces transparency? Oh, well, that may be true, but we can do that other ways. How so? Really? Palantir is aggregating all of our information and creating the most dystopian total information awareness in the human history to be used by authoritarians against all of us. And truly, we're just going to accept these types of things? They brag about it. The only way we can hold them accountable is having systems they can't corrupt, because by their design, they're resilient. And yes, 15 years into this, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have bad actors. But I will remind everybody, we never got a bailout. We never got an endorsement. Neither the government nor academia or any other major institution helped us. They tried to kill us every single year. From the mocking cackles of Paul Krugman all the way down to Gary Gensler suing everyone. None of this was helpful. None of us gave the structures and wisdom and other things that we needed to step ahead. And when the US government did embrace us through the Trump administration, it was strictly for extractive means, to take as much money as possible from us, not to help us or aid us. And I understand there's plenty of sycophants clinging to that, and they'll soon realize that glory and power is fleeting. And when the power structures change, they'll be politely reminded that they clung to the wrong corpse. The reality is that despite the fact that so many have spent so much time to try to burn down our industry, we stood strong. We continue to thrive and grow under the worst conditions imaginable. And yes, despite the scams and despite the fact that the markets can be challenging, we continue to show that we can win. The technology will get us there, but the culture will finish the job. And we have to make some decisions, hard decisions as an industry. We have to be willing to take the hits. We have to be willing to say no in the face of evil. And we have to be willing to remind people that there are real cryptos and not real cryptos. If you have no means to participate in the governance of and the control of the running of the system, and another group of people you have no influence over can stop you from using the system and freeze your assets at any time, this is not a cryptocurrency. It's something else. And while it may use similar technologies, those technologies have been reapplied to benefit the few at the expense of the many. We have to preserve and protect the foundations of this industry and where it came from. The ability to be your own bank, own your own wallet, for you to have the power and say, for you to be able to verify and check the transaction, and you don't have to trust anyone. The chains and the ecosystems that believe in that, they're the good guys. The chains and the ecosystems that want to take that from you, first technologically and second through regulation, they're the bad guys. It's pretty simple. And if the good guys win, we live in a world where the most powerful people have to follow the same rules as the least powerful people. If the good guys win, we live in a world where every country has to play nice with each other, as opposed to the ones with the nuclear weapons always win. We live in a world of rules, and we live in a world where we can trust each other because we can verify the things that we're being told and the transactions that are being submitted are actually true, as opposed to somebody told me, and I hope that that person's honest. It's a moment for us. And having been in this industry longer than most, and having taken a lot of the hits, I'm still here, and I'll still fight the good fight. And if I have to go down with the ship, I go down with the ship. But it's not about me anymore. People either love me or hate me. I'm either credible or not. But there's no more influence that I have to expend. It's about the next wave of people and where they come from. The next 500 million, the next billion, the everyday people, the rank and file people who right now are trying to make that decision between cynicism and optimism. At the end of the day, everything in modern society and all the algorithms that guide it are trying to push you into cynicism. They're trying to make you believe you've already lost. They're trying to strip you of agency and autonomy and make you believe that your humanity's already forfeit. Every single signal is pushing in this way. So I understand fully why the young have succumbed to it. But we have to pull them out, and we have to remind them that we have the tools to reset, and we have the tools to do something new, special, and different. So back here in the office, midnight is on the horizon. Cardano's never looked better from where its technology stands, and we got quite a movement. There's a lot of people that are fired up, ready to go, and they want to win. I'm going to stay optimistic. I'm going to stay believing that our best days are ahead of us. And while we will have conflict, while we will have struggles and adversity, we're not alone. We have each other, and we have that unifying belief that each and every one of us is truly equal. And each and every one of us deserves something better than what we've been given. And the people we're fighting, the only thing they got is fear. But guess what? We have nothing to fear but fear itself, to quote a long dead president. I honestly believe we can win. So thank you all for listening. It's a pleasure to be back here in the office, ready to go, and a lot more to say, a lot more to do. That's for a different time. Cheers.